notification that it was Andy Obregon, and one of our deputies got on and said, he's in custody, it's Andy Obregon. About 2:51 this afternoon, we got a 911 call from a woman. She advised that her car had been stolen, and she also reported that she was battered. But what we found out that the citizen went to her father's house. The house appeared to be abandoned, and the daughter went to the house to check on it. When she went into the house, she found the person that she'd been seeing on TV, Andy Obregon. Talked to him for a little while, from what my understanding is, and he proceeded to batter her to the level that I believe she's being taken by Flight for Life up to the hospital in Milwaukee, up to Freighter. He took her silver Chevy Spark and took off, going over to the family house over on JB at EW. He then took off from that location, and I can only guess at this point that he took off southbound on 83, traveled down into Illinois. At the point that she dialed 911, we immediately started putting out the notification to area law enforcement. And actually, for those in the media, as we got this word, you've been so wonderful to us as far as getting the word out of what he was driving. I started emailing the media to let you know that he was in a stolen Chevy Spark vehicle. And I wanted you guys to help get that information out. I want to thank all the media for your cooperation, for your diligence in helping us really to put resolve to this entire issue. In Illinois, about 3:34, the stolen vehicle was located down by Lake County Sheriff's officers near Green Bay Road and 21st Street in Zion. High-speed pursuit started from there. It continued north on Green Bay Road into Winthrop Harbor. About the area of West Broadway and 9th Street in Winthrop Harbor, the chase turned into a foot pursuit. Officers continued in the pursuit. In approximately 3:54 in the afternoon, Illinois officers apprehended the white male. For those in Kenosha area, this would have been about near Lewis or 39th Avenue, just south of the Illinois state line. So again, Andrew Obregon was heading back into Kenosha, and my guess his goal was to head back to the area that his family was. We heard, while we were listening to the radio, we heard shots were fired, and we were just waiting to get more information. A short while later, we heard that all officers were fine, everyone involved. We had our deputies on scene, Illinois authorities had a canine out there. We also had our canine out there shortly after theirs did, as Andy Obregon was taken in custody. We heard deputies came back, and you could tell it was like Christmas as far as they were concerned, because these deputies were at the scene where Andrew Obregon was caught, and they said that he was coherent enough that he knew the names of our deputies, looked up and said their names, and I don't know how else to describe it, but the joy of, even in this building, that he was finally caught, that this ride was over. Living in the Brighton area where Andy Obregon is from, where he circled around, I know that the schools were on soft close downs. I know that the kids were held in from recess. The special events that the schools were holding were canceled. For all the kids in the schools out in the area that Andy Obregon basically terrorized for the last few weeks, it can go back to where it was. It can go back to where the kids feel safe in their playgrounds, in their school. Parents can feel safe in the community, their homes. They can still lock them, keep their keys out of the cars, but it's going to go back now to the way it was a few short weeks ago in the rural area in western Kenosha County. And I've already had several phone calls and texts from people that I know that are glad it's over. I also had messages from people in the Obregon family, and they wanted to thank law enforcement for helping to put this to rest. Members of the Obregon family have told me that they feel very sorry for the community. They apologize for what Andy did to the community and how it affected everyone, and they hurt too. So, I'm trying to think what else. Many people have been involved in this chase. Not the one today, but in the chase that's been going on for us about 3 weeks. And we've got officers, deputies, detectives that have slept very little in the last 3 weeks. Tonight, after they get the reports completed, this will be the first night that they can actually go to bed and start working on the homicide portion of this. And that is a huge undertaking all by itself. I want to thank Illinois authorities, and I know there are several agencies down in Illinois that helped finish this off. Pleasant Prairie was on standby, and my guess is they were probably on scene too. The Kenosha Police Department put gang detectives into this investigation from the very beginning. The Racine Sheriff's Department worked arm in arm with us as we tried to do this because Andy Obregon was terrorizing the county of Racine as much as he was terrorizing the county of Kenosha. There were literally hundreds of officers from beginning to end that helped to put an end to this, conclusion to this. And I want to thank all of them. Truthfully, the parts I played in this was very small compared to everyone else that played major roles in bringing Andy Obregon, getting him into custody. He has one injury from what I've been told, and this is unconfirmed through the investigating team that's down there from Illinois. One of our deputies who was on scene says that Andrew Obregon has a wound to one of his arms. He believes, and again this is unofficial at this time, but he believes it's a gunshot wound. Officers, when they arrived, we did hear on the scene that there were gunshots, and at least one of our deputies believes that Andrew Obregon has a gunshot wound to one of his arms. I don't remember which one. He was taken into custody, transported to a local hospital in Lake County, and what I've been told is he's already on his way to the Lake County jail, to the Sheriff's Department, to be held there. We had members of our detective unit assisting the escort to make sure that nothing happened to him between the scene, the hospital, and also the jail, his final resting place here until we can get him extradited back up here to Kenosha. That's all I can think of right now. Any questions?
Can you tell us more about the victim, the woman, about the interaction with Obregon? Did he beat her with his fists? Did he use a weapon?
I don't have the reports. I believe, and I shouldn't speculate. I know that I believe that he struck her with hands. I believe that's what he used as his tool to cause physical harm to her. If I remember correctly, I believe she's 59 years old.
Yes. Where do you think he was hiding for these months?
I hope to find all that out in the very next few days. I don't have that answer though.
Sheriff, you said yesterday that you felt as though you were close to apprehending him and that it would happen soon. Was that just from experience, intuition, or was that something that you kind of had a beat on through some information?
We knew, or I should say we believed, that every day, and I've been saying this the whole time, every day we were shutting roads for him down. And the roads, I don't mean physical, whatever highway it is, it's paths for him to take to escape, connections that he had, places he may hang out. So I believe that in the near future, the teams that we put together were tracking him down and getting more intelligence on where he was going to and where he'd been. We know that in the last, I was saying that this morning, but in the last 36 hours now, we know that a stolen 2003 Dodge Dakota that he took from Kenosha a few days ago was actually brought down to a dealership down in Illinois and left there. We don't have all the details. Antioch Police Department found that last night or this morning. So we knew he was still in the area, and we knew he was traveling to Illinois, back up here into Wisconsin.
So do you know what he was doing down in northern Illinois? Was this a place that he would frequent, and why?
Andy Obregon, I have been told by family and friends, visited just south of the border often. And knowing his past, it probably was to commit some kind of crime. He probably was stealing something, or, and I'm just truly speculating on that, but I know his past. I know that that's what he's involved in. That's how he makes his career, is by stealing and salvaging motors from snowmobiles or motorcycles, or he would steal equipment. He'd go out to scrap yards and take pieces off vehicles, and maybe a tailgate or something off a vehicle, and take it down to a scrap yard and get $10 for a tailgate, or whatever it boiled down to. So we were watching scrap yards. We were trying to focus in on members of his family or friends that we thought may be assisting him, and we still don't have all the pieces put together, but truthfully, I can't wait till our investigators start talking to him, and he hopefully will fill in all the pieces so we can figure this out.
Can you talk about how Illinois authorities would have gotten, word so fast after, you guys put out the word about, the stolen car and all that stuff?
Well, we put out the word immediately. We put out the word that he was in this car. We had the license plate because the woman who had her car taken, we knew what the license plate was. So we could put out, it was a silver Chevy Spark, and this was the plate. The Illinois authorities were on alert, and they saw the car. We've been in contact and putting out bulletins on a daily basis with all law enforcement in northeastern Illinois and southeastern Wisconsin. So they were ready, not necessarily know that he was going down there, but they were ready to look for this car, and they did. And we're thankful they found it.
So during the foot pursuit, is that when he was shot?
Andrew Obregon was shot during the foot pursuit.
How bad is the injury?
It can't be too bad. He's already been released from the hospital and is on his way to jail.
Was he
Has he
armed?
said,
Was he armed?
I don't have that answer for you right now. I really don't know that. We always believed that Andrew Obregon was armed. We know that people did see him at the beginning of this entire situation. We knew that people had seen a gun in his pants. Did he have it when he exited the car? I don't have that answer. The Illinois task force is investigating this entire situation, and we'll have more details as they give it to us, probably tomorrow is my guess.
how heavily do you believe he was armed? Did he have access to multiple weapons? And is, now that the chase is over, is there any tie or truth to the rumor of the Conservation Club in Burlington being robbed?
I know that there was some talk of some rifle at the beginning. The only gun that anyone has seen on his person was some kind of a handgun in his pants since it started. Did he have other weapons at his disposal? I don't have that answer. And the confirmation of anything in the Conservation Club in Burlington, I have no clue of that. I don't know.
Well, Sheriff should only be here.
Sheriff, you described him as a
Have
crackhead.
any role to play in this K-9 units?
K-9 units were, Andy Obregon, we went on foot in Illinois agency. Their K-9 was let go, and I guess our K-9 was right on its heels. And they actually were the two that went and took Andrew Obregon down.
The canines took him down?
That's what I was told. I'll know more detail in a very short, in a while, but I was told the two K-9s were part, but I was also told he had a gunshot wound. So I can't tell you if it was one happened, right before and where he was laying there. I don't know all the details. We'll find out more in a little while.
Has he said anything?
He looked at one of our deputies and called him by name. That's the only thing I know that he said.
Sheriff, if you could, repeat again the interaction with the carjacking and everything that played out there as best as you can.
And where it took place?
It took place near the Obregon home. It wasn't too far from the home. I don't have the address. I think the address is close to JB and Highway 75, which is about a mile from the Obregon home. Supposedly it was a home that was vacant at the time. A daughter, a 59-year-old daughter, and I don't have a name, went to go check on the house. She opened up the house and she confronted Andrew Obregon. And there was some kind of a discussion for a little while, and it ended up with her getting punched and Andrew Obregon taking her vehicle.
Do you know if the house had been locked?
We have investigators out there talking to her right now and at the house.
Are there other people of interest at this time?
There might be. Andrew Obregon was our main focus in the investigation, and if there are other people of interest, hopefully we'll be finding that out or confirming it in the near future.
Have you spoken to the family of Taiwan Anderson since this all went?
I really am talking to almost nobody except this group right here, and to let my wife know that he's been caught.
Can we assume that he was using this vacant house as a base over a period of time? Do you have any idea how long he'd been there?
That's what the detectives are working on right now. They are there, they're trying to process the scene of the house, they're trying to determine if they can, and I'm sure the woman that had her car taken, she will help to enlighten us to see how long that house has been vacant. It might have been vacant for a couple days.
Do we know if she was aware of Andy Obregon and the fact that there was this intense manhunt going on?
I don't know of anyone in this area that doesn't know about Andy Obregon at this time. It's taken over every conversation, everywhere. And I'm sure I'll have more details down the road as far as what exactly this woman, what it entailed, but I don't have all the details right now.
Did this woman go to the home with the intent of trying to find out whether it had been broken into, either by Obregon or somebody else?
I don't have that answer.
Are there any connections to this home and trustee Atwood?
I'm not aware of any connections. I'm not aware of any connections at all.
Sheriff, is there any indication, as I said before, you described him as a crackhead and believe that he's motivated in some of his actions, at least by the need to get his fix. Any indication that he may have been under the influence of any drugs when he was taken into custody or in possession?
The deputy that I talked to recognized Andy Obregon right away. And I asked him, I said, did he alter? Big thought was he altered his appearance. And he did say that he was clean shaven, but it looks like he's aged about 10 years. He looks, from the picture from 2 weeks ago, he said this entire experience has taken its toll on Andy Obregon. And as far as I'm concerned, good. Because it's taken its toll on the community just as much as it's taken, even greater than it's taken its toll on him.
Are you surprised that he became violent with this woman? He didn't really have a history other than the homicide. You said there may have been a revenge motive involved with that.
The only thing that I'm aware of is the woman came up to the house. They were communicating in some way, like, why are you in the house? And I'm sure what probably happened is he wanted to get her car and get out of there, and she probably wasn't going to give the keys. So I don't know exactly how he injured her. Initially, the call came in that he had punched her in the face, and we'll find out more. We'll find out more about the injuries, and we'll find out more about how he was injured, or she was injured, in the next couple days.
And the vacant house is near the Obregon farm?
If I understand correctly, it's probably about a little more than a mile away from the Obregon farm.
Would his first court appearance be down in Illinois now?
Well, we're going to see if he waives extradition or not, and my guess is of right now, his first appearance will be down in Illinois.
Any idea when that could be?
I don't know that.
Was his family's home under surveillance by you?
There were a lot of places under surveillance. We had a pretty massive team watching a lot of different places, and sometimes those sometimes they move to different locations depending on time of day. We were trying to map out times of day that could be spotted in different places and trying to time things, and we always seemed like we were a step behind. Like even this morning, when we found that he was in a different vehicle than he was yesterday, what we believed he was in yesterday. That put us another step behind, because now we didn't know the vehicle he was in. So now we're a step behind again.
Did he make contact with his family at all? Do you know whether he made contact with his family at all following his mother's court appearance this afternoon? Prior to the chase?
I am not aware. I've been in texts back and forth with a couple of family members. They were praying that all of our officers were safe, and they were thinking to help put this to rest. I'm going to guess that all the family members that I have been regularly in communication with, I don't picture them being in communication with him at all.
Jeff, can you just reiterate how much of a relief this is for you again? I mean, following the meeting last night, you know, there were just so many people who were concerned and wanted to know what they could do to protect themselves. Just reiterate again what a relief this is for you personally,
Well,
and your staff.
for the community, and it really goes further than just the Brighton, Paris, and Dover, Kansasville area. I had the superintendent of Kenosha Unified School District. Parents were communicating with them. Should they do things at their school? Should they have security there? Should they go on a field trip to this location, or should they go to different functions? So this really wreaked havoc in schools all throughout Kenosha County, from Lake Michigan to Lake Geneva. This wasn't just in the local schools right around where Andrew Obregon lived. I know that there were several people that had armed themselves in their houses during this situation, which is something they have never done before. Schools in the area. We had squads in there before the schools were open and after the schools were letting out. I know even my kids' schools, the school buses were lined up in the shortest distance between the school and the school bus, so that the least amount of exposure. Paris Grade School canceled their Panther Prowl last Saturday, which is their big fundraiser, because of the fear that people were going to get injured, or Andrew Obregon was going to come there. So now, this is, I don't know how you multiply the relief that I feel by tens of thousands of people. And it's over. I mean, it's like this huge boulder has been lifted off myself, my department, and this entire community. So now they can go back to living the lives that they did. And they can go to stores and not have to worry about in the parking lot if they're going to run across him, or anything that there wasn't a place that the people in Kenosha County didn't feel nervous about going or attending, and it's gone.
Now, you all can get back to, you were saying yesterday, you guys have been delayed in your investigations and your regular police work. You got some catching up to do, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we've got a lot of catching up to go. Piecing together the homicide is still something that's been sitting on a back burner. All the other investigations that our detectives should have been working on to try to resolve, this took precedence over. And the reason it took precedence over it is because it affected so many people. So now we'll tie up the loose ends and we will get back to what we normally do. For me, it starts the budget season tomorrow. And thank goodness it ended today with this part, because now I can start that stressful situation. But I'm good with that.
How has this manhunt affected your budget?
That's a really good question. We have tried our best to we're trying our best to keep track of all the overtime that this manhunt has cost Kenosha County. What we can't keep track of is each shift, people were assigned to it, and they weren't on overtime. So if they paid half attention on their shift to the Obregon area and half to the district, or whatever they were supposed to be assigned to, we can't keep track of that. U.S. Marshals gave us several agents here. Racine gave us several investigators to come down, and they had several up in that area patrolling the west end of the county. The true cost of this, I don't think will ever be really determined. We'll be able to come up with a cost for the overtime that we expended on it. But the true cost, dollars and cents, we'll never really put it all together. The cost of the community was huge. The nights that we lost sleep. And I'm truly, from personal experience, it's been on my mind for the last couple of weeks. Had a hard time sleeping. My family members, just wait on them. Part of the fear was that Andy Obregon knew who I was, and was I going to be part of a target for him? I never felt that way, but my family members didn't know for sure. So everyone can sleep better tonight. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all you guys doing and helping. This was, it wasn't just a few people. This was a huge, huge group of law enforcement and really the media. My 13-some years as sheriff, I've really come to appreciate the media, and I think we've worked very well together. And the information that you guys have gotten out and relayed the message. When I was emailing all the email addresses and our media, whatever you call that group, I knew that you guys would get the message out to everybody too. And it went out so fast. I had people call me up. Facebook is exploding. I don't understand Facebook, and I don't understand how it explodes. I'm pretty good about it. I can do my email, and that's about it. But everyone got the message, and I'd say 90% of Kenosha and Racine know it's done.
Are there any potential operational or strategic changes that may come with it? Did you guys do a debrief or something? And what I'm saying is there a chance that from this experience you all learned something that if this should happen or anything similar again, you're able to take a different tactic?
This is all, every case that you have, you learn what resources are out there, who contacts would be, what equipment do you have, what are your strong suits, what are you weak at, and in every case, whether it be a large one like this or a small one, what can we do next time to improve? And I'm sure we'll come up with ways that we can improve. We actually improved as we went along through the process. We tried different techniques. Every day, we tried something new. One night we tried felony checkpoints. And it made the community feel good because they got stopped 2 or 3 times and they knew that we were in the area, but it didn't work. So we kept trying different techniques. We learned of what we can do, what we're strong at, what we need to improve on. And will we have issues in the past? Yep, we will. But we did learn from this situation, and everything we did, finally, it paid off. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for everything.